Hey, Kings and Dragons, Dragon King 551 here. This is a big NFL draft video for the recap of the first round. No, I will not be going into the second or third round. This is only the cover of it, and we'll be reviewing my picks from my mock draft to the actual real picks. But I did not account for trades when I made that. So I wrote down little picks here and there where teams got traded and stuff. And I will be talking about which teams those are. But firstly, I just want to talk about these quarterbacks and some Michigan news about which players got drafted because I am a big Michigan fan, but I wanted to see how many players got drafted out of Michigan because I was curious. With that being said, let's just go into the news here. So, first off, I want to talk about teams who still need a quarterback following either this year or next year, depending if they get drafted or they trade for four quarterbacks that are potentially on the chopping block. So, first off, the Lions, the Seattle Seahawks, the Saints, the Texans, the Giants, and the Vikings are six teams that did not get a quarterback in the NFL draft. Now, I think Daniel Jones has probably one more chance. I will be doing a Giants video and a Jets video, a New York draft of every single one of their picks later on in the week. But point is that the New York Giants need a quarterback because they're going to try one more year at Daniel Jones. If he doesn't perform with the offensive line that we gave him and stuff in the draft, then he's gone. I'm sorry, he's got to go because there's no way that he's going to perform, and the Giants need to look for a new quarterback. Now, there are also four teams I have here that time is slightly running out for them. Now, I have the Packers, obviously, with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he did sign 4 years, so that gives him four more opportunities to potentially win a Super Bowl, but his time is running out. Now, I do have the Buccaneers. Tom Brady did come out of retirement, but again, they still got to look for the future and stuff because Tom Brady probably will play either one. This last year is actually his officially last year, or he'll play one more year after that. The Colts. Now, the reason I have the Colts is because Matt Ryan is up there. He's, I think, 37 or something, really high in his 30s. So I think he'll go soon. Now, Denver, I'm not saying time is officially running out, but I think Russell Wilson has about like 5 or 6 years left. He's 33 right now. So they got some opportunity, but they definitely do not have it. Now, these are quarterbacks that are free agent / trades that teams could pick up. So the four quarterbacks that I have right now are Jimmy Garoppolo, Carson Wentz, Ryan Tannehill, and Baker Mayfield. Why is Jimmy G and Carson Wentz and Ryan Tannehill on that block? Because the 49ers might want to go with none other than Trey Lance this season. Carson Wentz might be gone because Sam Howell just got drafted by Washington. Ryan Tannehill might be gone because the Titans drafted a quarterback, and Baker Mayfield might want out, and maybe he goes to the Seattle Seahawks or a team that actually needs a quarterback. So those are the teams that are going there. Now, these are the teams that got a quarterback in the NFL draft. The Panthers got Matt Corral. As I did say that the Panthers need a quarterback, I had Kenny Pickett, but we'll talk about that later. Falcons got Desmond Ridder from Cincinnati. Commanders got Sam Howell out of North Carolina. Titans got Malik Willis, and Steelers got Kenny Pickett. So Kenny Pickett got to stay home. There were about, I think, 2 or 3 guys that got to stay local, and that was the Steelers and I think the Lions with Aiden Hutchinson and stuff. But it's kind of interesting because Kenny Pickett only needs to switch from one locker room to the other because I think they use the same training facility for Pittsburgh College. I do notice that it was kind of interesting to see how all these other quarterbacks, except for Kenny Pickett, got drafted in the later rounds, 3rd, 4th, I think, and 5th or something like that, really late. But hey, it doesn't really matter. I mean, Sam Darnold. I'm sorry, not Sam Darnold. I meant Tom Brady. I don't know why I said Sam Darnold. I apologize. Tom Brady, drafted in the 6th round, is phenomenal. Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, 2 guys drafted, not performing to their expectation in the 1st round. See, the problem with this is that it's sad and disappointing because take a player like Aiden Hutchinson from Michigan, right? He now has to go to one of the worst teams in the country. Take a player like anyone on the 1st round. So there's there's like a triple-edged sword here. First, you go to the worst team, right? Now, the second double-edged sword part is you get drafted to, like, you're a really good player. So you go in the first round, you're one of the top 32 picks in the country. That's phenomenal. That's great and stuff. But then there is also a problem because now there's a lot of pressure on you to develop well, or you could be a bust in the NFL and stuff. Like, take Kyler Murray and Baker Mayfield. I think they were 2 Heisman Trophy winners, quarterbacks. They did absolutely nothing and stuff. Yeah, take Deshaun Watson. He was a Heisman. I think he was a runner-up, but he won a national championship. He didn't do anything. I mean, Joe Burrow, though. I mean, yeah, he looks great. I mean, in year 2, he went from tearing himself, his MCL and ACL, and came back and almost won the Bengals a Super Bowl in their second year. So, I mean, you just don't know where these players are going to go. Sometimes they're really good. Sometimes they're really bad. It depends on how well the coaches develop them and how well they develop themselves. So, yeah, I'll move right in onto these Michigan players. These were 5 players that got drafted. The other 5 players did not get drafted, and they went as undrafted free agents and signed with teams. So, Aiden Hutchinson, Daxton Hill, David Ojabo, Hassan Haskins, and Andrew Stuber. Now, Hassan Haskins is a backup potentially for the Tennessee Titans, as they have Derrick Henry. Now, my biggest concern with this is that David Ojabo tore his Achilles. And again, this is what really baffles my mind and stuff in the NFL. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but whatever. So you do well all season long, and you go to the NFL Combine, you do really well. Then you go to Pro Day and you perform in that, and then you tear your ACL. Your draft stock plummets just because you did terrible in the Pro Day, but you did well in everything else. Like, that's stupid. So I perform mediocre, average at best. I perform C plus or something, right? In my whole entire college career. I go to the NFL Combine, I ball out. That could actually help my draft stock and stuff if I did that. And then I do well in my pro day. That helps it even more. I don't understand how you can do really well in 2 events and then your draft stock plummets because you injured yourself in a. It's so stupid. I get it because they don't want to take a chance on a guy, but he's not a quarterback and stuff. He's a defensive player, so he should have been a first rounder, but I understand why they didn't do what they did. With that being said, let's go right into this mock draft, real players here, and let's go through each player. So first off, this was every single pick here. Most of them stayed the same. There were only a couple that changed. So let's go with the first pick. So you know who they are. So I had Kevon Thibodeaux there as the first overall pick. I was still in the same right category and stuff, but they chose Travon Walker. Now, I was right about this pick. I said Aiden Hutchinson will go to the Lions. I was right. It was the same pick. He did go to the Lions. I had number 3, Kyle Hamilton, but instead the Texans decided to select Derek Stingley Jr. I had 4. I had Derek Stingley Jr. for the Jets, but they chose Ahmad Gardner. Now, I had 5 Matt Corral because I really thought that the Giants were going to pass because they keep getting new coaches and GMs like every 5 to 10 years and stuff. So I thought they really didn't want to take a chance on Daniel Jones. So I don't know what they're doing. So instead of that, they got Kevon Thibodeaux, a really great pass rusher. That was great. I wanted David Ojabo. I had him later down at 7, but we didn't get him. But we still got 2 really good players, and I wasn't really pissed this time. Normally, I am really ticked off at what the Giants get because I'm like, no, that player wasn't that great, but whatever. Next up, we go right down to the Panthers here. I had Sam Howell, but they chose an offensive lineman, Emik Iko. I don't even know how to pronounce that right, but whatever. Number 7, David Ojabo. The Giants selected Evan Neal. Now, I said I will make a big video for the Giants and Jets, so you will see that later down the line. Evan Neal, great player. I mean, we needed an offensive tackle. Now we have Andrew Thomas on the left side. We have Evan Neal on the right side. I don't know where we can't go wrong. Number 8, Tyler Lindbar. and they selected Drake London. Number 9, I had Kenny Pickett, but they chose Charles Cross. Number 10, I had Chris Olave for the Jets, but instead they selected Garrett Wilson. So I was still kind of right. That was page 1. Number 11, this was Washington. Hang on, I gotta check something quickly. No, I'm good. Okay, I apologize. I thought that I wrote something different. Okay, so Washington, I originally had Desmond Ridder getting picked at 11, but the real pick was the Saints trade, so they got Chris Olave, and I had the Saints originally, Drake London, but they chose Chris Olave, so whatever. Okay, so the Vikings, I had them Ahmad Gardner, but the Lions actually traded, so they got Jamison Williams. Houston, I had Kenneth Walker, but the Eagles selected Jordan Davis. Let's see. The Eagles selected Jordan Davis. And then I had at 14, the original pick that wasn't the same pick, the same round pick, no trade with a team. I had Jordan Davis, but they selected Kyle Hamilton. That was the Ravens. The Eagles, I had Nakobe Dean. Dean. And then the Texans decided to get Kevon Green. The Saints, I said I had Drake London. The Washington traded with them, so they got Javon Dawson. Number 17, I had Garrett Wilson. They got Zion Johnson. Eagles, I had Daxton Hill, but the Titans traded with them, so they got Trevon Burks. Number 19, I had Evan Neal, but they got Trevor Penning. Number 20, I had Malik Willis. I was in the same category, but they get Steelers got Kenny Pickett. Patriots, I had Jamison Williams, but the Chiefs traded with them, so they got Trent McDuffie. Number 22, Treylon Burks. They got Quay Walker. Arizona originally had Devontae Watt, but the Bills traded with them, so they got Khalil Elam. Number 24, I got Kevon Green, but they got Tyler Smith. Bills originally had Javon Dawson, but the Ravens selected Tyler Limbard. Let's see. Number 26, I had Zion Johnson with the Tennessee Titans, but then the Jets traded with them, so they got Jermaine Johnson. Tampa Bay was originally Devon West, but Jaguars traded them with them, so they got Devin Lloyd. I don't know why I said Devon, I meant Devin. Luke Forder, I had at 28, but they got Devontae Watt. The Chiefs, I had 29, where they were going to get George Pickens, but the Patriots got Cole Strange. And then at 30, I had Justin Ross because I thought he was a really good player and stuff. I thought the Chiefs were going to get 2 wide receivers to try to replace Tyreek Hill, but instead they got George Kartis. Number 31, I had Marquise Hayes, but the Bengals selected the boy Daxton Hill, which is really good. He's a really good player. The Lions, I had originally Devin Lloyd, but then they traded with the Vikings, and that was Lewis Kind. So yeah, those are all the picks for the draft, and obviously my picks weren't up to par and stuff, but that's because I do mock drafts where I don't worry about draft picks and stuff because I don't like doing that. Now you might say, what do you mean you don't like doing that? Why don't you like doing that? Because even though I know it's not necessarily realism, because there will be teams that will trade, I just do it straight up because it's easier for me. And I don't want to make it complicated where a team trades and stuff. I just follow what they're doing. So again, those were all my picks and stuff from mock draft to real and stuff. But let's go back to teams who still need a quarterback and who teams are running out of time and are in like a win now phase. So you got the Lions, the Seahawks, the Saints, the Texans, the Giants, and the Vikings. You got the teams running out: Packers, Buccaneers, Colts, and Broncos. The 4 free agents, again, are Jimmy Garoppolo, Carson Wentz, Ryan Tannehill, and Baker Mayfield. Trade or free agency. I don't know if they're getting cut or anything. That's why I said free agency / trade, because I don't know where they're going. Teams that got a quarterback in the draft, I just covered this, but I'm going to recover it. The Panthers, we got Matt Corral. The Falcons got Desmond Ridder. The Commanders got Sam Howell. The Tennessee Titans got Malik Willis, and the Steelers got Kenny Pickett. 5 players that actually got drafted from Michigan: Aiden Hutchinson, Daxton Hill, David Ojabo, Hassan Haskins, and Andrew Stuber. So with that being said, I really think the Giants or these other teams will take a quarterback next year, unless the Lions or a team wants to be aggressive and says, let me go out and get Baker Mayfield or Jimmy Garoppolo or Ryan Tannehill or Carson Wentz. Now, hear me out. I don't know necessarily if Carson Wentz is going to be beat out by Sam Howell. I mean, Ryan Tannehill might get beat by Malik Willis, but we'll see what happens. Jimmy Garoppolo, I really think that Trey Lance is going to take over now. I mean, Jimmy G's had it. I mean, he's done. But Baker Mayfield, this one is acceptable because they already have Deshaun Watson, so he definitely wants to look for a new home. The Ryan Tannehill and Carson Wentz thing is that I feel like Ryan Tannehill's kind of old. I think they kind of need like more of a mobile quarterback to have legs underneath them. And Carson Wentz, he's injury prone. So, I mean, he probably will get injured and then Sam Howell will have to take over regardless. So, yeah, those are all my recaps on the NFL draft and everything. So until next time, guys, don't forget to stay radical. I'll see you in the next one. And that video will be New York Giants and Jets video. It will be a big giant video between both teams. It will just be called, I haven't figured out the title yet, but I think this is just a placement title. It will be recap of New York NFL draft for the teams or something like that. I'm not sure yet, but those are my thoughts on everything that I have. So until next time, guys, don't forget to stay radical. I'll see you in the next one.